Bottom line is, let's bring in our guest, Sharon Langert. Am I saying it right?
Yes, Langert.
Unmask our kids. Good morning, Sharon. Thank you so much for coming on, especially last minute when I found out about your movement. I'm like, we got to get her on.
Thank you so much for having me. This is really awesome because we are fed up with seeing our little kids in masks and we want to do something about it. So the fact that you invited me on, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, because I think it takes that you standing up and having courage and taking that step to do this, and hopefully more parents will fall in line. Why do you think more parents are just literally listening to the agenda and the propaganda and not even questioning their own children?
CO2.
This is what I wanted to talk about because I feel like since we started this movement, we've been getting nonstop messages from mothers like, thank you so much for doing this. And they've been sending us their testimonies of like how their kids are suffering so much. The problem is that because we are so censored, people feel like they are alone in this and they feel like everyone else is pro-mask. And we've also been psychologically manipulated to believe that we are not good people if we tell our kids, not, it's time to take off your mask. But we've been so psychologically manipulated over the last year that people feel like guilty. They feel like, oh my gosh, like what if my kid causes somebody to get sick? And these parents are really scared. And after the lockdowns of last spring, when their kids were home, they just are so happy to have their kids in school that they are willing to mask their kids so their kids will go to school. They're like, well, no, psychologically, they need to be in school more than they need to not wear a mask.
That was all planned out too.
Yeah. I mean, well, the thing is that's what really scared me was when I spoke to a doctor and I said, when can we take off these masks? We know now that kids, like for the most part, kids are not dying of COVID. They're not big spreaders. It's really horrible. Like I was taking a walk the other day and I walked past the school and I saw little first graders playing outside in Florida in 80-degree weather with masks on their face. I started crying. I was like, this is horrible. How are these teachers not feeling guilty about this? And I spoke to a doctor and I was like, when can we take the masks off? And he was like, well, once we get approved for, once the kids get approved for the vaccine, then we're going to get the whole school vaccinated and then they can take their masks off. And the ones who don't want to get vaccinated will not be able to take their masks off. And that's what I said. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Do you know how bad that's going to be psychologically for these kids? And first of all, why do kids need to get vaccinated when they're not dying of COVID? So I quickly, I have like a network of friends and women, amazing women. And we quickly gathered together and we made a WhatsApp group and we decided we're going to do something about this. So we started to write a petition right away. And we are, we did it within a few days. We got this done and
it's starting.
We already have over 3,600 signatures in like 3 days, but we need more.
We need more. So you need to tell us how do we sign the petition and how people that are listening right now can get on and sign this petition because they are with us. They are like-minded.
And on the petition, I'll tell you what, because there've been petitions going on all over the country right now, not only for the masks but for everything you could possibly imagine, and they're falling on deaf ears only because these politicians have been strengthened with this Emergency Act. And this Emergency Act defies all other potential laws like OSHA, right? Right now, if we were a year ago or a little more, OSHA would have shut down that school for you putting a mask on your child because your child was not getting enough oxygen in per regulations. And
100%.
But because of this Emergency Act, Sharon, that now it's okay for them to suffer lack of oxygen.
Or the bacterial infections that's happening. There's so much more.
But if you could turn this petition into a non-compliance, because it's going to take just pushback. We're going to have to do non-compliance because at this point...
Just take the masks off.
At this point...
Well, the thing is, we're trying...
Go ahead.
We're trying to empower these parents who are scared. Right. And the reason, at first, we were very aggressive. We're like, we need to stop this child abuse. And then somebody told me that the administration of certain schools were getting offended because they're working so hard with their local government to keep the kids in school. And they're doing the best they can for the psychological welfare of their kids. Right. And they feel offended that we're using the word child abuse. But I agree with you.
No, it is.
At this point already, we need to fight back.
Yes. Then this is the thing. I get into pretty big debates about it because I am very actively posting on my social media about it, and it's my page, and this is what I feel. I got a friend wrote me that I'm the problem, that I'm basically killing him and his family because I'm an anti-masker. I'm like, listen, I just don't think my 5-year-old needs a freaking mask. This is what is happening. They're saying the parents are misguided and they don't have the information. That's misinformation. I said, no, it's not. The parents have a responsibility for their children to be a voice. They need to research themselves, and then they would find that this is asinine. This is ludicrous. But they're being lazy, and they're just listening to mainstream media. Not to mention those who 100%. Go against it are being censored left and right.
Sharon, when did you wake up?
Wait, let her.
Okay.
Go ahead.
When did I wake up?
No, answer her question, then you tell us when you woke up.
No. Okay.
She thinks you meant this morning.
I've been awake. I'll tell you what, I've been awake from the beginning. There were 2 weeks out of this whole thing where I was like bleaching down my groceries and not letting things in my house. And then I was like, this is crazy. This is not anything that I believe in. I believe in that, everything that the government has told us to do has been bad for our immune system.
Yes.
Right.
We should be exposing ourselves so that we can strengthen our immune system. So I've been actually, as somebody who's very concerned about mental health, I have been concerned about the mental health issues from the beginning. And I've been talking about it on my Instagram page from the beginning about how masking of the kids is going to affect. Kids need to see a human face. They're still developing.
I know.
Sharon, I walk into the stores now, right? Of course, I never wore a mask from the beginning like you. I knew exactly what the plan was. And I walk in stores, and the father, healthy, in shape father with his little girl, could be or a little boy, doesn't really matter. I walk in and the little girl sees me and moves into her father, and the father grabs her and protects her.
They're afraid of us
from me, and I'm like, what? I said, I'm like, what are you doing to this child?
Though.
Do you understand the damage that you're doing to this child? Psychological fear damage done to this child?
Exactly. We have all been psychologically damaged, and even the parents are psychologically manipulated and damaged. But I want to go back to what you said about parents doing their own research.
Yes.
So this group of women that I'm working with are so smart, and but they've done tons and tons of research, and we've included in our petition actual studies that show how kids do not, for the most part, get sick, die. The morbidity, the mortality rate is like almost zero with kids, and also how they're not spreaders, and also studies on how masks. Nobody has shown any of us studies that masks actually work.
No, they show studies they don't work.
Right. Yes.
Right. But there are studies that they don't work. And there's also studies about the damages of, kids. And we've included links to those studies.
Good.
So we actually have these resources for the parents who are interested. Instead of just clicking on the petition and signing it, they can actually read the petition, click on links that we've included.
Yeah.
So people need to educate themselves. They need to start asking questions. They need to stop being afraid. Parents, you need to stop being afraid.
Yes.
And you need to stand up, fight for your children. You must fight for your children.
Because
you're not saving anybody.
And it's important to reiterate, as many people that are bullying you and putting you and painting you into a corner of you ruining everything, there's times 10 the amount of people saying, thank you so much for being brave enough to share this and post this to educate them. They are hungry for this because something inside them feels wrong and they're going for it anyway. So we need to pay attention to our what is it? Our, help me, pregnant brain.
VARS.
No. Never mind.
Our gut instinct.
Yeah, that'll work. That's not the word I'm looking for, but that'll work.
But Sharon,
our instincts work.
Sharon, where are the men? I'm so disappointed. Every time I see a man, a healthy man, with the mask on, I literally want to go up and slap him like a little girl that he's acting like.
Women changing this? Women are stepping up.
Sharon,
crazy.
I'm telling you, don't you want to slap these men who are wearing these masks and like, my God,
how about the men that are like, I just got vaccinated. I posted to my husband, there's a guy and he's in a pink thong and he's like, this is what it looks like when you say I just got vaccinated and wear a mask. And he's on his bed with like all pink and Hello Kitty everywhere. It's like, what is going on? You know what? From the beginning of time, the world has changed from strong, brave men. And I think this is a call to action for men to stand up now. And stop saying, okay, well, I just have to do it for my job, or I have to do it for this. We need men standing up and walking with us.
I feel like a lot of the men are very supportive of their wives, but the wives are the ones who get up and actually take action.
Why?
Because I don't know, we're the mothers. We have this motherly instinct. Yeah. We're just like, and not that men don't. Men also, I'm just saying.
Men are the protectors, are supposed to be.
Yeah.
And the men are the ones saying, hey, we all need to get the vaccine. I mean, so like you're destroying your family. Not only destroying your family, we're going to probably find out that we're good chances that we're making our daughters infertile, maybe even our boys at this point, where they may not be able to have any more children. I mean, these men, these whatever men are just so. I'm so disappointed in my own freaking gender.
Well, you should be. All right, Sharon, thank you so much for coming on Awaken Atlanta. We got to get to our emails, but tell us how people can find and follow you and support you. And I would also love to invite you back maybe in a month and let's see kind of how it's grown and what we need to do from there, because I support you and I walk with you 100%.
Thank you so much. So you can go to on Instagram. We have an Instagram page called Unmask Our Kids. It's unmask and then like the _our_kids.
Okay.
The link to the petition is in that Instagram page. Just go on, read the petition, look at the links, sign the petition, because the next step is we want to be able to take this petition with a lot of signatures and use it for our individual schools and our individual, government, locality, whatever local governments. And we really need to push this.
Yes.
Get them marching. Get them out there marching. March,
what's crazy is teachers that are exposing this and coming out against it, they're getting fired. Did you hear about that coach saying, I'm not putting a mask on my athletes?
They're firing them. Yeah.
They're firing them left and right. So they're all afraid. Everybody's afraid. Stop being afraid. All right,
Right.
Sharon.
We need the numbers.
Yes.
We need the numbers.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you so much.